Hello everybody, welcome to my report, and my name is Fucai. I'm from the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. The title of my paper is The Survey on Bridge Discovery in Tor. The Tor network is an overlay anonymous network in which each Tor router runs as a normal user-level process without any special privileges. Each user runs local software called an onion proxy to fetch directories, establish circuits across the network, and handle connections from user applications. This onion process accepts TCP streams and multiplex them across the circuits. The Tor router on the other side of the circuits connects to the requested destinations and relays data. Normal clients access the Tor core network directly through public Tor entry routers listed in the consensus file available at the official Tor website. To anonymous communicate with a web server, a normal client uses source routing and choose a series of onion routers from a downloaded consensus file. The selected onion routers constructed an anonymous path along which circuits will be set up incrementally by applying onion routing. This figure depicts a circuit created incrementally around the path source router A to router B and to router C. Here, router A, B, C also refers to entry, middle, and exit nodes respectively. A user's onion proxy constructs a circuit incrementally, negotiating a symmetric key with each OR on the circuit, one hoop at a time. In this figure, the source negotiates a symmetric key A with a router A using the Diffie-Hellman handshake, and negotiates with a symmetric key B with router B using the Diffie-Hellman handshake through router A, and then negotiates a symmetric key C with router C using the Diffie-Hellman handshake through the router A and router B. The Diffie-Hellman handshake processes encrypted by Ka and Kb incrementally. The application data from source to destination is encrypted in source by Ka, Kb, and Kc in turn and sent to router A. The router A decrypts the data by Ka and then sends it to the router B. Router B decrypts the data by Kb and sends it to the router C. The router C decrypts the data by Kc and retrieves the original data and sends it to the destination. The Tor has been commonly used for resisting various forms of censorship. However, Tor uses source routing for communication privacy, and the information of all Tor routers is available to clients and publicly listed on the internet. Thus, blocking Tor is as simple as blocking connections to those known Tor routers. To resist the censorship blocking of public Tor routers, the bridges were introduced in Tor. A bridge can act as the first hoop relaying user traffic into the core Tor network. For example, the bridge this figure. The function of the bridge is the same to the entry node. The bridge information is not fully listed on the internet, therefore they are not easily blocked. Users can partly obtain a few bridges through email or HTTP requests. The bridge population significantly varies over time. It has steadily grown from 2.8 kilometer active public bridges in July 2012 to a maximum of 12.7 kilometers in July 2014. In this figure, we replace public Route A with bridge, and the circuit construction processes are the same way they discussed previously. For subjects such as blocking toll censorship, finding available bridges, toll network analysis, performance improvement, and bridge concealment, a number of studies have focused on bridge discovery. Although ARM presented 10 possible ways to obtain bridges in Toll's official website, he did not describe the exit bridge acquisition method in detail. In this paper, a brief survey of bridge discovery with respect to bridge categories and discovery scams is conducted. Bridge nodes are classified into two categories: public bridge nodes and private bridge nodes. Public bridge node information is stored in the toll network directory server, which only provides 3 public bridge nodes to a user at a time. Therefore, it is not easy to obtain the information of all bridge nodes. Of course, users can obtain a large amount of bridge node information through distributed enumeration. The private bridge node information is only kept by the creator and cannot be obtained by other users. This mechanism is supported by Toll Protect. User can obtain 3 bridges at each time. A user can use a Yahoo or Gmail account to send an email to the bridge email server with the line "Get Bridges" in the body of the email. The bridge email server promptly replies with 3 distinct bridges. To avoid the malicious enumeration, the bridge email server only replies with 1 email to an email account each day. Alternatively, the user can access the bridge website to obtain 3 bridges. To avoid the malicious enumeration, the HTTPS server distributes 3 bridges to each 24-bit IP prefix each day as well. Attacks can use different email accounts or use proxy server to enumerate an amount of bridges. The anonymous circuit of the toll network is composed of entry, middle, and exit nodes. The entry node may be a general public toll router or a bridge node. The anonymous traffic received by the middle node comes from the entry node. A malicious middle node can obtain the IP address of all entry nodes by existing the source IP of received data packets. By excluding the IP address of the unknown public routers, an attacker obtains the IP information of the bridge nodes. This method requires that the middle of nodes be a controlled node, and the identified bridge nodes only include those transmitting anonymous communication traffic through the controlled middle node. To identify more bridge nodes, the controlled middle nodes must have a higher bandwidth to attract more anonymous communication traffic. The ports 443 and 901 are common ports for toll bridges and relays, and the TLS protocol is used for encryption and authentication between bridges and relays. Based on the above characteristics, Durometric and Tesa-Kavish successfully proposed a bridge node discovery method based on the Internet web scans. Durometric exploited the ZMAP tool to perform Internet web scans on ports 443 and 901 and applied a set of heuristics to identify likely Tor nodes. For hosts with one of these ports open, they performed a TLS handshake using a specific citing cipher sites supported by Tor's VE handshake. The advantage of above method is that there is no need to deploy malicious Tor relay nodes. It only needs to detect the 443 and 901 ports of a large amount of IP address and further verify the detection results. The disadvantage of this method is its poor timelines, because the set of active bridges is constantly changing. The data would be stable by the time a long-running scan was complete. In 2011, Youyang added a filter rule to its border routers that recognized Tor traffic and blocked it. ARMA investigated the situation and found the following rules. The first is that Tor tries to make its traffic look like a web browser talking to the HTTPS web server, and the characteristics of the Tor's SSL handshake was expiry time for SSL sanction certificates. The second is that Tor's SSL handshake rotates the session certificates every 2 hours, whereas normal SSL certificates received from a certificate authority typically last a year or more. The fix was to simply write a large expiration time on the certificates so the current certificates in use have more possible expiry times. Another DPI based is to track a special cipher list in the Tor TLS handshakes. The cipher list is a part of TSL client hello, which is signed by Tor user to the relay or bridge after TCP connection has been established. This particular cipher list appears to be unique to Tor. When connecting to a Tor network via bridges, the client first creates a series of non-blocking sockets and then connects those sockets one after another in the short period for establishing TCP connections to chosen bridges. The chosen bridges include two parts: bridges configured by users and bridges cached by Tor software. As with most applications, the Tor client does not bind predetermined source ports for those connections. Conversely, it is the operating system that assigns the ephemeral source ports for connections to chosen bridges. Such ephemeral source ports are usually constitutively located in widely used operating systems like Windows platforms. As a result, multiple SYN packets with consecutively source ports will be sent almost simultaneously, designed for the different bridges. Therefore, if multiple SYN packets from the same IP address with consecutive source ports are observed. Then the destination IPs are extracted. And if at least one destination IP belongs to an unknown bridge set, then all the other destination IPs are inferred to be bridges. This is called the opportunism bridge detection method and requires a large known bridge set. There have been a number of research focused on the toll traffic identification. The idea of the bridge identification method based on the toll traffic classification and identification is to identify toll anonymous communication traffic, extract the source and destination IP address of the traffic at first, and then exclude the IP addresses of the known public routers from the accessible consensus file to obtain the bridges. Among the above studies on the bridge recognition, only the bridge node information obtained based on HTTP and email requests contains the fingerprint of the bridge nodes. According to the obtained bridge node fingerprint information, the obtained bridges can be used to construct a circuit from anonymous communication. In addition, the connection configuration window of the toll browser also provides the function of obtaining 3 bridges nodes and their fingerprints. Also, although other bridge nodes cannot obtain the fingerprint information of the bridge node, they obtain the IP address and point information of the bridge nodes can meet the requirements of the blocking toll to censorship finding available bridges. Toll network analysis, performance improvement, and bridge concealment. Finally, let's come to the summary of this paper. The first is that the actual and available bridge information can be obtained using HTTPS and email requests. Second, the method of middle malicious forwarding nodes requires the attacker to deploy controllable middle forwarding nodes and can only identify the bridge nodes based on the monitored traffic. The third, although more comprehensive bridges can be obtained through internet-wide scans, this takes a long time and requires further verification of suspected bridge nodes, so the real-time performance is poor. Fourth, the methods through DPA depends on the particular cipher list used toward TLS negotiation. Fifth, the TCP/SYN based method relies on the allocation of the ephemeral source ports for connections to the operating system chosen bridges, and if the operating system modifies the source port allocation stages, this method will then not achieve the expected efforts. The last is that the method based on the flow classification and identification mainly releases bridge node identification based on the anonymous communication traffic classification, and its accuracy depends on the accuracy of the flow classification or identification method. Here is all the content of my report. Thank you for your listening.